Boris were snowed under as Omicron variant cases increase lead to new COVID restrictions within days. Boris Johnson has signalled new COVID restrictions within days after warning that his government reserves the possibility of further action to curb the Omicron rampage. After a 2-hour emergency cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister last night pledged to review data on the surging levels of the COVID variant hour by hour amid growing concern about the pressure on the NHS. But he held back from immediate action, acknowledging that the arguments about the impact of Omicron were finely balanced. MPs were last night braced for a recall of Parliament shortly after Christmas to rubber stamp a new swathe of restrictions. At yesterday's virtual cabinet meeting, ministers clashed over the reliability of experts' forecasts for the number of hospitalizations expected to be caused by the Omicron surge. Several senior ministers were understood to be unconvinced by the evidence. Speaking to broadcasters shortly after the virtual cabinet meeting broke up, the Prime Minister said, "We agreed that the situation is extremely difficult and the arguments either way were very, very finely balanced because we've got cases of Omicron surging across the country now, we've got hospitalizations rising quite steeply in London." He added, "We agreed that we should keep the data from now on under constant review, keep following it hour by hour. And unfortunately, I must say to people we will have to reserve the possibility of taking further action to protect the public and to protect public health, to protect our NHS, and we won't hesitate to take that action. But in the meantime, what I would say to everybody is, please exercise caution as you go about your lives, please think of the guidance and I think protecting yourself and your loved ones, and please get a booster." Figures from the UK Health Security Agency yesterday revealed confirmed cases of Omicron in England have risen by 6,777 to 41,250. Mr. Johnson said the government was examining a range of measures to try to slow the speed of the Omicron spread. Possible measures are understood to include limits household mixing, the return of social distancing and an 8 p.m. curfew on pubs and restaurants. A full return to lockdown has not been ruled out. Mr. Johnson said, "I can certainly say that we're looking at all kinds of things to keep Omicron under control and we will rule nothing out. But at the moment what I think we want people to focus on is exercising caution." His advice to the public in the coming days was to continue to wear masks in indoor settings, maintain good ventilation and carry on regularly hand washing. Mr. Johnson said many people had already changed their behavior following the government's earlier decision to move to Plan B contingency measures including mandatory face coverings. "I think what you're seeing already is the British public understanding that, and you can see in people's patterns of behavior since we went to Plan B, that they are changing the way they go about their lives. They are changing some of the assumptions they make about the things that they want to do. And I'm afraid to say, and I know that that has had consequences for some parts of our economy in some parts of the hospitality sector. Of course I regret that, but if that can help to get down the way that the disease is multiplied, that can be very helpful to us and to the country. But what really matters is for everybody to get vaccinated and get boosted above, because the booster really does give you a very high level of protection," the Prime Minister said. He added, "There are still some things that we need to be clear about before we decide to go further and who should go. But I've got to say to the British public, and I say to everybody, we will not exclude going further if we have to do things to protect the public. The public are already taking steps to protect each other and protect themselves, and it's wonderful to see how many people are coming forward to be vaccinated. I say thank you to them, thank you to the incredible army of vaccinators and all the volunteers." Senior Tory MP Peter Bone said last night, Parliament should be recalled this Wednesday. Members of Parliament must be able to scrutinise the government over the current COVID situation and whether there are to be new restrictions or not. Parliament should be sitting at this critical time,